my name is Boaster and I play for FNATIC. For FNATIC to go all the way, all I need are 2 strats. Durka go kill and Althea go kill. Despite the loss at Iceland, we kind of we're like, we know what our goal is. Like, we want to lift a trophy this year and that is our goal. So, like, we're not going to be sulking and being little crybabies about losing at Iceland and like, that's it, the year is over, GG. No, we're going to get back on the server, get back on the grind.
Boaster on the back line is going to spray him wildly, gets to...
I don't actually see ourselves as the favourites, even though like everyone else does. Yes, I do think we could win. Yes, I do think we're the strongest FNATICs ever looked right now. But I don't like to just say like we're the favourites or you lot are gonna lose, boo. I think it's just like I'm gonna respect my opponents and take it game by game, you know, round by round, day by day.
You gotta stop it, Boaster!
No way! No way!
It's how FNATIC close out the map.
Until we lift a trophy, or 1 or 2, maybe 3, jobs are not done. It's really exciting to be back here, competing again, this time with a full roster, and hopefully we're going to be lifting the trophy at the end.
Well, Boaster, he wants to take it day by day, game by game, and they have to at this point because they're going to be out if they lose today. And Jess, they go up against Leviatán, who's coming in on the back of a really extraordinary win, and the momentum feels like it might be on their side.
Yeah, I said before the tournament began, I'm going to keep bringing it up. This was the one team I put in #1 underrated in the entire tournament, just because they weren't internationally, you know, proven, and that's okay to say that coming into it. Got a couple of other teams, but watching them be so close yet so far, time and time again in the Latin American region, I think they are better than Crew now. I'm happy to say it. They have a very shallow map pool that's really proven at the moment, but if they broaden that, it's going to look hella good.
Yeah, and they already kind of achieved their goal, I think, by coming to this tournament, right? They already overtook Crew. They already finally beat the monster that was that team and was that mental block that they had against it, and now they've gotten 1 win, and they've gotten champions qualified. So the goal achieved here, and all they need to do is go forward.
Yeah, and it's all about Melsa. I know a lot of other people are on the Taco Mania, but the controller meta, Jess, at full force. Every controller in this tournament, including this guy, has been unreal.
Yeah, I think we made a joke yesterday that all of the great, like, you know, controllers start with M. Of course, Pancada doesn't. He's going to have to change his name. So that he's he's going to have to change it. That's okay. But I think overall, Melsa has had such an impact, and there's been a couple of controllers and initiators and a few teams that we pointed out in this tournament that have had unreal impact. Would it be fair to sort of compare, you know, the likes of Melsa with Marved? I'd like to. Yeah. I'd like to sit here and have a real conversation if that's a possibility, but it's unproven just yet.
Yeah, I think that the important stats that we saw on that sheet there, as we saw a couple of his multi-kills, were the multi-kills. He had 20 in that series against XSET. That is absurd. And then he was 38% clutch rate. And he's going to need to pull that out again to pull out a win against these Titans of FNATIC.
Oh, I mean, they defeated the NA #1 seed already, right? Is this, do you see this as a equal challenge, a bigger challenge, a smaller challenge in comparison to XSET?
This is a much bigger challenge. Obviously, that game was very sloppy. I mean, there were so many moments that you're just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it's going down to this. But yeah, I think this is a much bigger challenge, even though FNATIC has shown some sloppiness too.
Well, speaking of Leviatán taking down XSET, Mimi is standing by right now at the telestrator to show you guys a little bit of what happened last time we saw them play.
Thanks so much, Sue. I have a round to take a look at here from Leviatán, and it's not the greatest of rounds. It's not the cleanest of rounds, but it's the round that kept them alive in this event. It's in round 24 when they were playing against XSET. It was their lives on the line. They needed to either push it to overtime or book their flights home. And things start off pretty rough. It's looking to just be a hit over towards the A site here, and you see Melzer is going to make a TP play in towards Heaven. Pretty standard stuff with the split. Unfortunately, he has a pretty critical part of the round. The spike is in his hands, and initially, XSET have a really good understanding that someone is up here. The reaction is great. You see that aftershock come on through. Aaron on the punish. We get to see that from his point of view as well. He hears Assault coming through, and immediately the reaction is there. XSET knows the pressure is coming from behind, so they want to reply. BCJ is already rotating over. Aaron is posted, and you'll notice that breach aftershock come on through, which leads to the spike falling in Heaven. This all sounds crazy unfortunate, and it really is. It's a big mistake to make it a very critical moment, but Leviatán, they keep steady. They stay focused, and they realize that this round is still winnable. When things get chaotic, this team does well, and this is a great example. King knows he's the only person who can get into Heaven because he has 2 blast packs. He knows that the onus is on him, so his teammates will look to group together, hold back over towards the spawn side there, and he'll look to fight up towards Heaven. In just a moment here, you'll see that he's going to satchel on up and be able to recover the spike for his team. Miraculous that he gets that kill, but the reason he's able to do so is because they went so quickly. They reacted instantly. They make a mistake, and they're not like, hey, oh no, we're losing, it's over. This mistake is everything. They immediately find a solution. They find that answer, and he'll die on the way on out. Leviathan continues to stay focused. They get the spike on down and set themselves up for a rather nice post plant. They have one player on the plant there. They have one over towards Hell, ready to either receive someone that might drop out from Heaven here, or to aid Taco, who is playing close next towards the spawn side. As you see, Xset do want to go for the quick retake in this one. They'll immediately start to fight forward. Taco goes 1-for-1 with the trade on Cryo, but now it's again this crossfire that I was talking about earlier. These players are still communicating well. They're still set up in a position where they can both find success. Adverso holding for the dropout. They see the smoke coming through, so they know that Zekan's going to be dropping down in just a moment, and Zekan falls. That gives the breach ult over to Adverso. He ults back towards spawn, and immediately, again, they're set up in a crossfire. Shy's in a position. He can swing off the contact of his teammate in close, and they take down all the players of Xset. It's not a pretty round. Again, it is not a particularly amazing round of Valorant, but it is one that they win. When things get sloppy, when things get chaotic, Leviatán is a team that does not let that get into their head. They stay focused, come up with a plan B, or a plan C, or a plan D when someone is falling out of heaven and dying, and still make it work. FNATIC struggled against that crazy style of Paper X yesterday. They need to stay in control, or Leviatán is going to be pulling off some crazy rounds yet again. We'll send it back on over to Yinsu at the desk.
Thank you very much, Mimi, for that breakdown. I think she hit the nail on the head, that the chaos teams like Leviatán thrive in. Jess, we've seen it. FNATIC, they don't do so well in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, after what Paper X dished at them, okay, that was a speedrun-esque sort of version there. So I'm not going to say that Leviatán's going to go at the same level as that, but they have struggled historically against Latin American teams as well. Think about what Crew dished to them. I don't feel like there is, out of the teams that are remaining, a worse team for them to go up against than an unknown quantity, and one that comes from Latin America that could give a reminiscent kind of performance that Paper X gave them.
Yeah, and I think back to Crew at Champions, right? That was the Latam team that they faced last, and here it happens again. Very similar situations, but I don't really think that Leviatán, even though they had that game, even though they had that round, yes, they do well in chaos, but I don't think they can instill the same chaos, so I'm not as confident as you are.
I mean, I think we'll get onto it once we see the map picks and see where that chaos is going to take place.
Sure.
And when it comes to these two teams, Jess, you know, the picks and bans, there's some interesting things going on here.
Yeah, I thought we would bring it up to show everyone what I sort of expect moving forward. Maybe get a little bit of a prediction segment going for the analyst desk of what maps we think will come out. One thing I want to highlight here is that FNATIC is pretty set in their ways. Get rid of Breeze, make sure that's something that they don't want to play, and then of course we'll see the bans coming out, especially from the side of Leviatán. The reason I want to highlight this now is that I think the map veto, the map pick and bans between these teams, FNATIC will almost certainly ban Breeze. It goes off the board, no problems. But Leviatán has an opportunity now to either continue that Fracture or Icebox ban, and both are good bans against FNATIC. So when we talk about map pick and ban advantages, this will actually almost certainly go into the hands of Leviatán, because Breeze gets out, they don't have to do it, they know it's a certainty. Sweet, that's one map that's not really in their map pool that they don't have to play. Then they can get rid of a strength of FNATIC, one that is also conversely their weakness. All of a sudden, two maps are free bans for them. I like that, and I think that will help them and aid them in this particular matchup today, is having a really good map veto that will serve them purpose.
Yeah, well, I think as well, there's the element of FNATIC being really strong on some of those maps, right? Icebox and Bind. And I think Leviatán is going to have to make a decision on which one they want to go for. Icebox is one that they've been banning, so I expect them to go for that, but that is already a tough ask.
Yeah, and of course with the graphic just now, it's all of the bans, not just like the first bans. Yeah, but Breeze, like you said, we're not going to see it, so there's no point even thinking about it. For today, we're going to send this over to a quick break, but when we come back, there's going to be more Valorant action even, so make sure to stick with us. Welcome back, everybody. It's your girl Youngsu here, and it's time to talk about a very important issue. What would you do for a Valorant pro player in need? Every single day, Durka's tweets go unseen and neglected. They are crying out for your help. With only one click, you can do your part and help him get to 100,000 followers. Right now, there is an egg who needs you out here. Hitting that follow button on Twitter says, I'm here to help. So please make sure you head there, go to Durka's Twitter page and drop him a follow. You can make a difference, and maybe one day Durka will make a difference in your life too.
I was not prepared.
Okay, but yeah, we're going to get back to that a little bit later. But earlier, I asked you guys to vote in the poll on whether you think EMEA have a chance today and which team you think is going to get out of elimination. And you have pretty unanimously voted for FNATIC. Not too much of a surprise.
It is what it is.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all. I think FNATIC, most of you think they are going through. Both teams going through, and no one going through has the same chance. But it's time to bring the pre-show to a close. As I said, 2 elimination matches going on today. And by the end of this broadcast, we're going to be down to a top 4. Valorant Masters Copenhagen starts right now.
FNATIC para mí es candidato a campeón. Hemos entrenado contra la mayoría de los equipos Tier 1 en Europa. Le hemos ganado casi todo. Espero que podamos hacerlo en stage.
We're definitely going to bring our A game, like we have to in order to win. No more sloppiness, no more doubting yourselves, no more getting in your own head. Come on, FNATIC. Get your ass in gear.
Bueno, todo empieza desde la práctica. Desde que empezamos con Onur, que es nuestro coach, empezamos con una rutina muy intensiva. 5 scrims todos los días. Pero nosotros también entrenamos la fatiga mental en los entrenamientos.
We know the caliber of their players and we're going to respect them, but it's time for us to show the true form of FNATIC. We're about to turn into a hardcore boss, and you got to get past us.
Aún no es nuestro máximo potencial, pero sé que pronto lo vamos a poder hacer.
It has got to hurt for DRX. They'll go to the lower bracket once again.
I wouldn't say playing against DRX before we saw a lot of weaknesses. I saw a really good structure. We have to prepare for them.
FPX가 이제 다시 스위 개치가 들어오면서 완전체가 되긴 했지만 저희가 이번에도 이길 수 있다고 생각합니다.
I'm happy to see them at their full capability.
사실 기대되는 마음도 있지만
The fact we lost to them in a group stage will make us a bit angrier. I hope every player will want to get this revenge.
저희는 충분히 할 수 있다 생각합니다. 어떻게 되든 서로 좋은 경기 했으면 좋겠습니다.
We will play completely without pressure. We can play our hearts out and try our best to win those games.
지난번이랑 같은 결과 만들어내보도록 하겠습니다.
Well, Bosa there saying he thinks FNATIC, they're the final boss. Bala, would you agree with that? Are they the final boss for Leviatán?
I mean, yeah. I think that Leviatán is going to... if they beat FNATIC, obviously we'll have more conversations, but FNATIC is going to be the biggest challenge that they've had so far, and I think it's going to be really, really hard. So for us to consider them as anything other than the final boss is probably a stretch.
Yeah, and I think if they do manage to win it, or if FNATIC manage to lose as a result of that, I think that says a lot about both teams at the moment, in fact. So it's big statement match coming up. You do not want to miss that because it'll tell a lot about these teams.
Well, we theorized a little bit already of the map of vetoes, but let's send this over and see which maps we're going to be getting for this first game. Well, I think Breeze is definitely out of the question. We've spoken about this already, but what about the picks? What would you guys like to see come out today?
Ascent, give it to me again.
I think that's the only guarantee in this map veto heading into this.
Yeah, Breeze is gone straight off the bat. I think Ascent, Leviatán, after yesterday, seeing how FNATIC performed, I think they should feel pretty confident.
You know what, if I was Leviatán, look, we said, you know, get rid of one of those maps. They've been recently banning Icebox, Fracture, etc. They've been target banning. I was either torn between Icebox ban or Fracture ban. And they only really got to pick Icebox. And if I was to pick a map against FNATIC, I would pick Icebox as well. So I think they've done right there. The best that they can do, considering.
Yeah, this Fracture pick is very, very interesting because I expected them to go for Bind right away. But actually looking into it, Leviatán has not played this map with this roster. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what they actually come up with and what they even play with Shy adds to the team.
It's a little bit of unknown factor as well. I mean, FNATIC is taking a risk by picking that as well. Obviously, the fact that Leviatán's floated it, got rid of Icebox, means that they conversely have practiced this in private. And guess what? It's all in private. And there we go. We get your Bind.
Yeah, I was not expecting Leviatán to ban Haven when Bind is on the pool because FNATIC is good. So very, very, I mean...
We said this about Leviatán last time, though. Remember when they picked Ascent? And we were like, why would you do that? That is a great map for your opponent. You don't play it very well. And they came out and they absolutely demolished their team. I think we can't really have Leviatán as a known quantity anymore. I'm refusing to say that I know anything about Leviatán's map pool after that. No.
But also, FNATIC, they lost on those two maps yesterday. So maybe Leviatán, the preparation is there. They know how to counter it.
And they want to keep FNATIC in their uncomfortable zone, which obviously you can see with that Fracture pick that FNATIC is the same way, right? You haven't played this map yet. Let's see what you got on it because we are confident on this map.
Maybe they thought they would pick Bind. Maybe it also conversely didn't go in Leviatán's favor in the way that they thought it would. So maybe it's just a mixture of badness for both teams. I don't even know how else to put it.
I can't wait to see it on the server. We got to do that. And we're going to take another break here. But then after this, we're going to get the players on stage and get into that series between FNATIC and Leviatán. We'll see you in a few. elimination match, and for us to send this over to the stage and bring out the players. LATAM have eliminated FNATIC before at an international tournament, and it's time to see if Leviatán can follow Crew's footsteps here at Copenhagen. What do you guys think? Do you think the Cinderella story stays with LATAM, stays with Leviatán?
It's going to have to be their best performance yet. They're going to have to set a brand new precedence. I think it's possible. I don't think they've reached their ceiling, but I'm saying that they're putting something new on our screens we've never seen from them before.
Yeah, I think that, like I said at the top, when we started talking about Leviatán, they have nothing left to achieve, right? So there's no pressure on them in a sense. And for FNATIC, they are playing with the pressure of trying to make it with the privilege of playing on the first stage here with the crowd.
Yeah.
And so they really want to make it there because the EU has failed so far this year to make it deep in these tournaments.
And think about how many times they've said they wanted to win a trophy. Boaster and Mini, 2 years over and over again. We just want to win a trophy. And they get to start on Fracture, which if you are a long-time FNATIC fan, Jess, they traditionally do incredibly well here.
Yeah, we've had some tight moments on this map back in EMEA, and there's been some really good set plays from FNATIC. If you want crisp, clean, attacking set plays, then this is the team you watch and you try and copy. Yes, okay, there's been a little bit of fun plays from Optic, a couple of NA teams as well, but this is the team where I look to learn Fracture at the highest level.
But this is also an unknown quantity for you. We talked about how the map pool is unknown, but here on Fracture specifically, this team has never played it, right? They haven't played it with Shy. They only played it really minimally this year entirely. So FNATIC is going into unknown territory. They have to rest on their laurels on this map.
I wonder if, as a result of us not knowing the quantity of Leviatán, whether they've just turned around and gone, we're going to play to counter what we know is the known quantity, and that's FNATIC in this. Do we just counter them? That's a possibility. And it comes down to this agent select as well.
Yeah, we're into the Prime Gaming agent select, and what you're seeing on here, I believe, is the comp that they ran before Shy was in the roster.
Yep.
They could be reprising that, I'm not sure, but so far, both sides are looking, I mean, they're looking like the Pixie. Actually, I tell a lie. Boaster has moved over to the Brimstone.
Hello?
Yeah, this is the second time
I love Boaster controller, though. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's been very good since they made that switch. But yeah, without Astra with the Viper, it's kind of interesting. They are playing the same comp on the side of the Leviatán, and they're doing some stretches. They're warming up a little bit. We're going to need the stretches because Durka versus Tackle Leah on the chamber right here on this map is going to be super important.
Yeah, and I want to see some stretches from your casters today. Go on, Bren and Sideshow. Show us what you got.
Thank you very much, Analyst S Crew. Yeah, I mean, I do like to do my stretches before I'm coming in.
Do you?
Yeah, the downward dog.
Yeah, Bren hits the splits before he goes onto the cast every time.
Every single time.
He's crazy.
I am. I'm a crazy. That's such a crazy trait that I've got. I like to do the splits, guys. I like to do the splits regardless of all that. Let's focus on the match at hand, Leviatán versus FNATIC. It's an important one. Elimination match. The desk has been singing it all day long, and it comes down to this, honestly. I think the map pool, Josh, as well, it's kind of honestly leaned pretty heavily into FNATIC's favor, hasn't it?
It should be. It's 2 out of 3 of their best maps, but I really want to keep in mind what Bala said on the desk. This is a bit of unknown territory that you're stepping into.
Yep.
You kind of, from FNATIC's point of view, you have to punish the fact that they left Fracture open, but you feel a bit weird about it because you don't know what you're going to get. Now, from our point of view, knowing the agent compositions, this is pretty similar to what they've done in the past. This is pretty similar to the style they run on Split as well. And Leviatán is starting out with a set play to take some tree control.
Yeah, incredibly rapid approach. Push it all the way through B main, but it's absorbed, of course. That's the 4-1 split that's being taken place by FNATIC. So Durka teleports away back to safety, and the rest of FNATIC are capitalizing massively, already taking space into the side and getting that plant down.
And Maybe that's where you see a little bit of the Brimstone swap. In fact, Durka with the first kill too. Over on the other side of the map, taking the rope to go and help the rest of his team. As Adverso pushes forwards, Mystic didn't realize he was so deep.
I mean, whether the sound cue's just not really recognized, Alfie just hiding up top, but close and personal. Bit of whiffage still, the clean kill. Eventually traded, but that Brimstone molly stopping him for about a moment. Leviatán trying to play this fast with their retake.
The Brimstone's miles away though. Look at the position of Boaster on your minimap, spreading through his spawn. This is all down to Enzo.
He's got to try and disrupt this one, already sticking up to halfway, and Boaster's just nowhere on site, nowhere in position for it. It just gets stuck.
And what a catastrophe for FNATIC. It's one more of their post plants falling to pieces. An area of the game that normally FNATIC look rock solid in, but they were just so aggressive there.
Yeah, and I think already you're seeing that known quantity versus the unknown quantity, but Leviatán, I mean, in a matchup against XZ, these pistol round wins were one of the core reasons as to why they were able to make it so close, bring it all the way to XZ.
They won 5 out of 6 pistol rounds against XZ.
5 out of 6 is
and then they were winning all the clutches too.
Of course.
So it doesn't really matter what else you do in the game if you're going to clutch every close round and win every pistol too. FNATIC taking this one fairly slowly.
Yeah.
Durka, the only player that can particularly do anything with 8 bullets in his headhunter.
And FNATIC not opting into the buy. A lot of teams on our attack side, if they get that spike down, the extra money, they can supplement something. But just decided to take the full eco here. And they decided to contact all the way up behind this Viper wall. The nade to try and clear through, but a fragment being set up pretty nicely here. Should be 3 kills going away of Leviatán. Still, main control, ready and waiting. Another flash, 4 shy to try and take the fight. And of course, favored.
Perhaps Mystic will be able to get some plant money here, but that's the only thing that FNATIC are playing for at this point. Leviatán taking a couple of players that have been knocked out of this, so a little bit of damage done. But overall, not exactly the way that FNATIC would have wanted to start this. They are heavy favorites in this match, and that comes with its own level of pressure. Again, the Des was talking about it a little bit, but Leviatán have made champs. They've come here to do what they were intending to do.
Really, haven't they?
And Mystic, decent little headshot to knock the armor off Taco, but that's going to be all he achieves in the round.
I'd love to hone in on that though as well, Josh. I mean, you think about the pressure. FNATIC, this team, everybody's anticipating these guys to just absolutely beat demons. I mean, even in a little hype piece that we were showing, Boasters calling themselves, you know, the boss that they have to go through in that lower bracket.
I mean, to be fair to Boaster, he did say FNATIC were going to grow into the final boss.
Sure.
That they hadn't hit that form yet, but that was what they were going to become in this match. And that's on them to prove it. But yeah, if you talk to any of the MEA fans, it's about 50-50 whether FNATIC are the favorites just to win the entire tournament. That puts its own level of pressure, responsibility to deliver a championship for the most successful region. And here comes a bonus round that they're going to have to deal with. Leviatán pushing Dish. Maybe just going for a full bridge crunch.
Yeah, there's going to be a complete crunch. Can FNATIC even absorb this aggression? Alfie has already gone down, but that high ground position held by Durka. Teleports away to flash in play. Mystic trying to cover it. Overwhelmed with the player advantage. Leviatán are easily able to take this one. 1 player remaining. That's Enzo. Other side of the map, but the spike has been dropped down.
Yeah, tragedy. Once more. And Leviatán overwhelming FNATIC with their aggression. And normally you think of FNATIC as being a team that's so good in those moments, but Fracture, on the attack side, you just end up so claustrophobic there.
Yeah.
Looking with your head on a swivel. Enzo's been kind of nasty in the clutch when you've been watching him online most recently. Has looked like a completely different player since joining this team. But it would be difficult to get through Taco and Melza.
Brutal. Orb to try and cut off the sideline. Spam here and there with the Vandal.
Taco will die to 1 body shot here. Maybe able to isolate a 1v1.
They're going to be able to give him this fight. Leviatán, look at this, Takalea and Melza really just doubled up. Showing it, they don't really give him too much. And there you go, 4 in a round for Takalea. Josh, this is off to an amazing start for Leviatán.
An incredible start. They haven't played this map with the current roster. And even if you look back at their previous roster, they barely played Fracture.
It's 3 times in the history of the org.
And they are doing a great job here. Taco with the opener, the flash through. Even with Mystic's positioning, being able to play anti-flash, they just couldn't deal with the sheer quantity of players in their face. Awesome start. Especially for Taco, who's 6-1. Able to get the operator online now.
Let's see what happens here for FNATIC and what the adjustment might be. Obviously, we're Boaster moving over to the Brimmy. kind of implies as well they want to be trying to shut down some of the faster plays that might come from the Neon. With Durka falling early, that is not a great start at all. Even on the half buy, FNATIC, I think you rely on your chamber player when the money's not looking too hot to really get a lot of damage, a lot of work done.
Trying to flash Alfia in, and there's a mistake already. The coordination just looking a little off here. Stun onto King.
That's nice.
King's certainly not scared, but Alfia delivers the pick.
Yeah. A little fight being taken here, but Shy really isolated. Drop down onto the box. Will fall in the end. Boaster, he tries to follow up. Just running it down. Enzo left alone, not able to do too much more. 2 players surviving here for Leviatán. Another round on the board.
An awesome beginning to the map. And this is where FNATIC need to stabilize. 4-0 starts, okay. You're not too worried about it. You lost the pistol, you lost the bonus, then there's 2 thrifties that come along with it. But if you start racking up at 0-6, at 0-7, 8, that's when things start to get extraordinarily dangerous. We saw the DRX Optic game on Fracture. Things just spiraled out of control so quickly.
Snowballed so fast. Once you get that grip on it. For FNATIC, this is a map Fracture. Historically, they've looked very good at. They've been 6-1, I believe, over the course of the entirety of playing it. Points towards them being favorited here, but they are finding it difficult to deal with a lot of this aggressive takes.
And Leviatán are always going to be confident to make the play. They are never afraid. One of the things that carried them through the XSET game, they were just so often willing to make a risky play, go for a contact push, a swing, where they're taking a 50-50, but they're winning them more often than not. And FNATIC, with Boaster's change, they're going to miss that gravity well to quell some of the aggression, perhaps. And we've already seen that the post-plan play didn't look too clean. Coming up under here.
Is this being anticipated?
The flash is lovely from Mystic.
Yeah, that's honestly quite magical to just push him off the angle, even expecting that he could be there. As soon as they heard that teleport as well, it means that there's going to be the play being made. Alfia going to be skipping across the site, the nade up into tower to try and supplement it. Now a showstopper, but no one's really there. Just pre-firing the rocket into the corner. Everyone playing off of sight.
And that's a huge pick. King pushed out of A halls, looking to get the wraparound. Retakes are always better when you get these kind of positioning, but FNATIC is shutting them down.
Yes. Yeah, Leviatán just trying to basically disrupt this one before the spike even got planted in that kind of position, but they've lost so many of their players now. Essentially just Tackleer. Shy dropped to his knees from the ults prior. FNATIC do still need to plant.
Yeah, and there's only 10 seconds left here.
They do still need to plant. They do still need to plant. Guys, come on, get onto the site. Okay. Tackleer, luckily, I mean, they find a pick onto him to end the round, but Josh, it was almost like they forgot the win con.
I'm not going to lie to you, Brent. I thought there might have been some lag or something on the server there, because I was just confused as to why the spike was sticking around at B-Heaven for so long. Very, very odd. With such a massive player advantage, but listen, end of the day, FNATIC come out on top there. They used a lot of ults with which to do so, but Mystic getting great value out of his utility. The flash forces Tackleer off the angle, the ult again forces Tackleer off Jenny, and then they use the showstopper to try and take the space. More aggression, but Boaster just spams through the smoke, and King's been picked off.
Yeah, the early room smoke just dropped down there. Boaster, obviously.
It's not going to stop Melzer. Look at Melzer.
Just moving all the way through this, but oh, the shots just don't quite connect. Enzo deals with it.
And that's magnificent. That's what I'm talking about. These guys are not afraid to make the play, even if it fails.
Oh, and Thunder to push them back. Adverso's just taking the space back again. Dodges the flash. He's up close and personal. A bit of run and gun. Trying to bait for Alfia to collect the kill, and eventually he does.
Shy is behind them right now. Looking for a pick. Landed the headshot, but it was through a brick. This is the round that I'm kind of talking about. I expect a lot of the game to be like this, because as soon as Leviatán lose a player early, all of their players are going to look for a solo play. And they're good enough to be able to turn the rounds around unless you're hyper diligent. And the chaos caught FNATIC off when they played against Paper X. I'm not claiming that it's as coordinated when it comes to Leviatán by any means, but they are going to try and inject chaos into this. And FNATIC have to be diligent, have to be structured and disciplined. And so far, they've managed to shut down a couple of those threats that could have posed problems for them in round 6.
Yeah. That's the danger, Josh, of Leviatán, isn't it? They play with that. It's almost like they're just not too worried about the outcome of the map sometimes, with the plays that they make.
Of course, yeah.
The solo plays, the solo contact pushes, just high risk, anything to turn the round.
Yeah,
their favor.
A lot of high risk, high reward situations, but they've been winning them against XZ.
Yeah.
I saw the fan reactions. I saw a lot of people saying, okay, listen, XZ, they were playing terribly. The other teams aren't going to give Leviathan those opportunities. But I think that undersells the chaos and the individual quick decision making that Leviathan have. Yeah. They always know how to maximize the reward of a risky play that they're going for. It doesn't mean they're going to stop taking the risks, but if it works for them, they can really get on a heater.
Look at the money situation. Leviathan, a couple of them operating. You can see in terms of just buying up a rifle. Mel's has got that ready and waiting, but for FNATIC, plenty of ults if they can get into a post-plant situation. Set them up quite easily. Forward King, what was the go button there? A dodge and juke moving around, the overdrive popped off, but the players once more holding around the corner. Mystic deals with it.
And another excellent aftershock from Mystic too to stop the trade from Melzer, who was the only player with a rifle in this round.
And this is a significant key to victory, I think, on this map. Being able to deal with that just constant aggression that Leviathan are going to be able to throw at you. If you can just hold deeper angles, make them overextend, make them play into you where it's a bit more favored, and turn it into that 4v5, FNATIC, they set themselves up nicely.
And honestly, Brent, I think if Leviathan had full committed to that crunch, FNATIC would have found it very difficult. What do you do if there's an orbital strike on your head at that position and people are still pushing you from arcade? But it was a little half-hearted, and like I said, the aftershock stopped Melzer from really getting involved.
All the players grouping up now, stun off onto the corner. Fiber orb placed up, this is a Verso, but again, high risk, high reward play that he's making. Moves inside the orb, gets the one, eventually removed though. The trade is there, time still running relatively low here. The weaponry's not the best. And now the orbital strike to try and cut them up, but FNATIC are winning this one out. The weaponry, the player advantage, all points towards them being able to get this plant down, and it's left up to Tangalia. We've seen some magical moments over the course of this tournament.
And he's got the op.
Not quite enough.
Not quite, and Durka's going to go back and collect the weapon. How dare you take a shot at me with my own weapon, he says, as he picks it back up, and FNATIC are back into this game. You're going to have Leviathan on another one of their rifle rounds, and Melzer hasn't had a real opportunity to use the orbital strike yet. Obviously a massive ultimate, and probably one of the big reasons why Boasters made the swap over to it. Look at that trade. Wow. You do not expect... If Durka doesn't hit that one, I think Adverso ends up getting a couple of kills there. I told you Durka would be taking that personally. It's his weapon. Long lineup from Shy though, throwing his 0 point over to try and get information, and he does. He finds that Mystic and Alpha are poking and prodding towards Dish, and Taco already had that info with the boombot coming towards his face. But this is going to start to paint the picture here for Leviathan, that FNATIC are starting these rounds with 3-4 players up towards bridge. Yes. It's unusual. Teams don't often do it, but I think we're starting to see the meta develop in that way to stop bridge crunches. And so far FNATIC are 1 for 1 in stopping aggression on that side of the map.
Slow and steady. It's the pace that's being taken. A couple of pings up into the tower there. Looks like they are going to be stunning it up. Anything else to try and help them out here? Yep, it's going to be the nade just rebounding off the side of the wall.
And that buys space for Mystic to get the final ult point he needs. Breach ult is about to hit the site, and these players are not in position to deal with it.
Rolling Thunder, Melzer going to be sent straight up, flying into the air. Up close and personal. Alpha is there. Eventually, though, traded.
This position from
has to deal with this. Yep, there's going to be a pop flash. Spray transfer is immaculate.
30 seconds
2 kills for him, down to Durka now left alone, and I know exactly where he is. Placing down that rendezvous, making all the noise in the world. Has to turn up and just create something ridiculous here. But the crossfire, the angles that are being played, it's just perfect from the players of Leviathan.
Yeah, and I think it was a little sloppy, honestly, from FNATIC. They managed to get a breach ult online that, frankly, I don't think Leviathan had considered as a possibility, because Melzer and Shy are both in positions where they should just get devastated by that. But look at Shy here. They've been too slow to capitalize on that. And nobody's with Alpha yet, taking advantage of the space that he creates. So Alpha goes 1 for 1 with Melzer on site, and Shy is able to withstand the stun, or perhaps even dodge it, gets out of the way and continues that fight. Here's some tree aggression that's going to fly towards Durka, and this time he's getting tucked in, has to rendezvous away.
And this is why you're probably seeing FNATIC playing heavy presence over towards Bridge, but, I mean, predictable. When it's just Durka playing in the lower section of the map alongside one other teammate, you know that FNATIC are going to be lurking around.
And that's another big mistake.
Side. Yeah,
that's
Shy, what a...
pretty unaware, honestly, from Alfia and the rest of FNATIC to not think about or have anybody holding the angle underneath. So now 4v4, FNATIC are posturing around, trying to take and regain control of Tree. But I love the way that Leviatán are playing the defense. You've got Tacolia with his operator pushed up deep in halls, giving them all of the confidence that they can stack 3 players over there towards B. His trademark's holding dish, his operator's holding halls. Once he takes contact and rendezvous away, then Leviatán can start rotating.
Jiggle, good discipline to try and spot out Tacolia, and with the footsteps, has to respect it.
And now you see Adverso, and that's opened up the lurk.
Ah, it's a complete fake, isn't it? Just that one presence with the smokes drop down, all the players of Leviatán, 2 of them rotating back over towards A.
But Melza could be the magic man here.
Melza with the timing. Moving through, can hear the plant sound with the wall being dropped down. The player's positioning is not quite known. Durka TP's back over towards Arcade. Melza deals with it. But the Viper's Pit is down, Josh. This situation, honestly, Leviatán trying to play into this one. FNATIC, they should be favoured.
Ooh. Melza, I think, just beefing his movement a little bit, gives Boaster the kill. And I wonder whether he has a post-plant molly lineup. You would expect it with his move over to Brimstone. Perhaps it won't even be needed. He's just creating a threat at the back.
Yeah. He can play this crossfire angle as well from Arcade, but he's backing away all the way to the top side of the site. Don't know if he is setting up for a Brimstone lineup from all the way over there. Probably just trying to play for the exits, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think Boaster has a Brim molly lineup from Dish.
I wouldn't be surprised, though. This team is very dirty.
Mystic goes to try and punish Taco. Taco's having none of it. FNATIC 4-5. Clawing their way back into this game after a very early 0-4 start, where Leviatán were fully in control. And look, once again, 3 players from FNATIC start the round at the top of the map, over towards bridge side. I would like to see Leviatán at some point go for another one of those crunch plays. Oh, although FNATIC,
big group up.
Yeah, making an audible, changing the strategy, and starting with 5 players towards spawn right now. Yeah, this fight looks like it's happening over halls.
The fight being taken, the stun is immaculate. Javier forcing out that showstoppers and down at the feet of Melza. Enough damage is done though for Enzo to claim up the remnants of it. A couple of bullets will do the job at the end of the day. And a wider swing again from Adverso.
What a shot.
Feeling like he needs to take matters into his own hands, but again, he goes down and immaculate with the flash. Pure perfection, it sets up Alfia once more.
I've been so impressed with Mystic's utility so far on map 1. He's a player that I think a lot of people will be looking at with the loss to Paper X. He is at the bottom of the scoreboard right now for all players in the tournament when it comes to ACS. You know, he's putting up 80 damage per round. These are really poor numbers from Mystic.
Sure.
But his utility usage so far in this map has been masterful.
Yes.
Every flash is responsible for pushing somebody off an angle. The aftershocks are stopping trades coming through. And they're playing the Altorb situation with his breach ults onto sites really well as well.
It's so intentional.
It's hard to tell just yet with only 10 rounds whether this is him playing in much better form or whether he's just got a feel for Fracture and the way that Leviatán are playing, but it would be an enormous step up if Mystic is able to perform as he has been online, because Mystic has been in white-hot form in EMEA. Played some of his best Valorant.
I mean, he has been a monster when it comes to the clutches, just regionally. But he is a bit of a, you know, I like to call players like him a bit of the glue, you know. Sure. Filling in the roles that maybe other players don't want to play as much, but it's a difficult role at times.
And that round as well, Leviatán do go for a lot of the crazy plays. There's Adverso on the wide swing, like you said, Brent. And there's Taco trying to make a play happen too. And FNATIC are dealing with it. They've got good utility, good spacing so that they can trade each other out. And they're ready for those plays. It seems like they're making the adjustment here. And it's been a while since Leviatán have got their feet underneath them.
Yeah. Struggling a bit, I think. Off the back of winning the pistol round, and obviously the bonus on top of it, they did set themselves up nicely with just the money, the overall situation, the rounds going away. This is a common trend that we've been seeing with Leviatán, especially in that XA game. It was one of the reasons why almost all of the maps were going so close, because they were able to get those extra rounds into their belt. But when it comes to the actual meat and potatoes of these halves, when FNATIC are on even footings with them, with the buys themselves. I mean, I haven't been keeping count,
Now,
but...
3, 2, 1.
Now we can hear that casting, and now you can hear it at home as well. When it gets to the end of the round, Boaster is deliberately counting down a cheer, a scream.
Yes.
And I think the only purpose for that has got to be to get into Leviathan.
To rattle.
Because it's not based on when they're getting the kills. They already knew they'd won the round for like 30 seconds before that. But they're specifically, I don't know, attempting to tilt Leviathan perhaps as they head into the next.
Part of it as well, probably, you know, getting Alpha here still comfortable.
Sure.
The guy has been playing pretty well, I think. He had a bit of a slower start towards the tournament. You can understand it, he's a younger player, but getting him comfortable on the stage is pretty essential. And look at this, the flash at the back has to swing to the side, but still the kill is there.
And
Mystic
the
playing
trade.
anti-flash.
The trade from Mystic, really nice to neutralize that threat because Leviathan had a good idea. Sending the flashes through, going for a swing with King and Melza. And Adverso tries to make the play again. He has recovered a Vandal. This is great
The door's
timing.
still open. Shot's being found. Quick tip tap, even offloading his own ultimate. Off to the side, the flash not enough. The player's fallen so low, it's all down to Alpha. In a 1v1 versus Takalea, positioning not known. The spike dropped off, and Takalea has already made his way into halls. All the noise being made by Alfio, but no more bullets. A perfect opening of the door. Takalea finds the timing.
That is a gorgeous, thrifty round. And I can hear Leviathan going crazy as well. Both of these teams just hollering back and forth at each other. But that's a great round. Adverso,
Another
once
example,
more.
wasn't it?
He's just unafraid to make the play, and Takalea finds another great timing. Leviathan's plays are not always super synced up together. The opening of the round was with the flashes and the contact in halls, but when things descend a little bit into the 3v3s or 2v2s, it's about players catching timings and making big plays.
And even with the score here for the final round of this first half. Tour de Force whipped out on the side of Durka. Going to be trying to cover those angles with the rest of his team contacting deep into dish. No aggressive plays being made from Leviathan.
Well,
other than the halls control.
Yeah, they do have quite a deep look at halls, and they've been trying to get in front of Enzo's smoke almost every time. And that means that Enzo's Viper utility is fairly useless at
on the ropes.
Faking this.
Are they going to be walking into this one? I mean, King's still holding the angle. He doesn't really have too much to support him because, I mean, Verso's got to be watching drop the entire time.
Yeah, and if Melza swings to trade King, he can't really use his ultimate. And I think playing off the orbital strike here is going to be more important than trading King.
This is such a wide angle for King to be holding. But he gets the value anyway. They just don't expect him to be there. The stuns are trying to help him out. Get him out of there, King. Hopping away. And now the support comes down with that Brim Molly to cut them up. If anybody tries to push the ult, Mystic is taking so much damage in the orbital strike. Oh, it's perfect. The wombo combo play. Alfia tries to make the most of it, but he's shut down on top of it. Oster left alone. Fragment into the corner. Chunking him down, the damage being taken, the no command from Shy, meaning no abilities can be used, and they know his exact positioning.
And we said it felt a little dangerous going towards... Hello, throwing out the orbital strike there as well.
Right around, might as well. Trying to make the most of it, but the player positioning not quite known.
We said it might be a little bit dangerous for FNATIC to go into Leviathan when you have no data to look at. But a 7-5 half, not even just off the back of those first 4 rounds, but there was some beautiful stuff shown in 11 and 12 too.
Yes.
Leviathan clearly have a game plan, and it's working fairly well.
And I think coming into this next half with this lead, it's incredibly interesting, especially with how little we really knew about Leviathan coming into this initial map. But of course, our analyst desk is going to be breaking down all the action that we've seen thus far. What have you got for us, guys?
Thank you very much, Bren and Sideshow. 7-5 to Leviathan right off the bat on Fracture, but I can't help but feel it could have gone a lot worse for FNATIC if it weren't for the fact that this is the alpha we were used to in EMEHS. He's shown up.
I mean, when I was sitting back in my hotel room watching him when he first debuted here on the international stage, I was like, ooh, trips and stumbles, they happen to everyone, especially someone who's not been in this environment before. And I said to everyone, give him time to warm in. This is him warm. This is him hot, ready to go.
Yeah, and I think it was came off the back of FNATIC finally understanding how to deal with the pace from Leviathan, because there was a lot of it at the beginning of the half, right? They were constantly pushing, and this was the round where they really started. This was round 6. really started to understand how Leviathan was going to play. But before that, I really felt like it was shades of the Paper X game because constantly it looked like FNATIC was just scared. This is now the third player pushing down through arcade slow through a smoke. And, you know, Boaster's capitalizing. Alpha now is really capitalizing. And then they shifted the pace, and that's where they started to come back.
Yeah, I like the fact that they've read it. Obviously, unlike Paper Rex, they've been able to have a response to it. But I also conversely think that this is a huge strength of Leviathan to be able to play at this pace that they know is a weakness of their opponent on an unknown quantity that is Fracture. And I like that. I think it's worked well.
Yeah, and I think Josh was saying at the end, right, that round 11 and round 12 were really beautiful swaps of that pace, right? They just went into trappy play all of a sudden. And that's the dynamic that I don't think we've seen really from Leviathan. And also was the type of play that they were pulling out to kind of convince me that they were more of a standard team, not always going for that aggressive types of styles.
I like the flexibility here because, Jess, you can't just run at FNATIC because you're gonna run out of ideas at some point, but them holding it back, I think bodes really well for them into the second half.
I said after Ascent, after blowing my mind with their debut map and doing what they did on a map I didn't expect, that they needed more depth. It needed to be in the maps, it needed to be in the set plays, it needed to be more than, oh, Taco can kill and then Shy can lurk and blah, blah, blah. I needed more. I saw flashes of that. Show me what you do in the attacking half. That's what I want to see.
I can't wait to see it. Let's just get straight back in here and throw this over to Sideshow and Brent.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I think you guys have set the stage perfectly for this one. You know, this battle of, you know, the fast tempo that Leviathan have been bringing every now and then and slowing it down just enough to make it nice and awkward, a bit of a quirky approach to it. And now we're heading into this pistol round, Josh. Leviathan been winning a lot of them against XZ. What gave them the edge. If they can take it away here, they would gain a sizable lead in the map.
Yeah, it would be massive. And you talk about FNATIC potentially struggling to deal with the pace. This one looks quick. They have the Neon. They're going to bombard Dish with
Set
stuns.
up for it, isn't it?
And it's only Durka over on A. It looks like a hard read from Boaster, stacking 4 players on the B side of the map. And he's starting to move away now that they haven't heard anything. And it's purely a contact push, but they are going to be unleashing once they hit drop.
Contacting all the way. Not even worried about a player who could be just watching that angle. Holding the stun, and there you go. Finally, they let it rip. Fastlane drop down. Durka can't even react. I think there was a flash there, potentially a knife even, so that Durka wasn't able to get back to safety. Something ended up giving Shy the assist for that one, but now with horse control gained, even a player holding down upon to drop, a very nice post-plan situation that they've set themselves up into.
I think Taco Leo knows that Enzo is on the flank here. Perhaps not. He has smoked off the trademark, but may have had a ping of it early on.
Oh, yeah.
So Enzo could be the playmaker here. He's got a timing.
It could be massive. Okay, bit of a ghost moment, but secures it. Just needs to get another one easily enough with the pressure that his team is applying already half on the defuse and his utility. Look at this one. The kills flooding in for them. Halfway, they need to try and disrupt it, but it's just stuck all the way down.
Enormous play from Boaster, making sure that they get on that as the rest of his team pushes forward and engages Leviathan in a battle that means Boaster is just left, able to stick. But Leviathan are not going to give up here. Just because you win the pistol doesn't mean you really won the pistol. We're going to have a battle in round 2. Take a look at it from Boaster's perspective. He just manages to get half before the aftershock comes through.
He doesn't get that. It's looking a bit more brutal. They were really fighting over that one.
But like I said, Leviathan are not giving up yet, just yet. They will not go quietly.
Brought straight into this one. The stunts sent across. Alpha here watches the angle. Even the vulnerability was being applied a little bit prior to that one. Softened them up enough.
Oh, and Enzo just got more than he bargained for opening that door.
Gonna refight this one. Mystic ends up flashing the corner there, but doesn't want to overstep himself once more. Talia tried to timing it, Durka. What a fight to take.
Wow, trying to swing off Taco's crosshair being broken to break the trademark.
That's really smart.
Trading his own trademark there. Now it's all down to just Shy and Malza. An overwhelmed run and gun down. This might have been the play that, again, Leviathan were unafraid to make, but it could be the play that allows FNATIC to regain control in the series in the map.
We've seen Malza do some just ridiculous stuff.
Won't be this time.
Not this time, no. He's been clutch in the past,
but this is Alpha Year's map. The Des were talking about it, over 300 ACS. So far in this tournament, despite the fact it took him 10 rounds to find his first kill in the tournament, he was the only player positive against Paper X. He has over 150 ADR even before you look at his insane performance so far on Fracture. And he's just been performing as expected.
Yeah.
As you expected this young, excellent talent would play against the other best teams in the world. He's found his footing for sure.
I love that as well. Comfortable Alpha year. That LAN on the global stage really is that complete FNATIC. High expectations, but right now they've made it. Even in this map, money's still favoring them as well. They forced Leviatán down to that eco because they ended up forcing into the prior round.
And it should be the first time that FNATIC takes the lead in the map. But should only go so far when you're dealing with these teams, with these players. Leviatán have been ultra clutch in some of these moments.
Molly rebounds, make sure nobody can swing, so the orb is going to be a freebie.
But FNATIC have lost quite a bit of information. They don't know if there could be people contacting Dish. They have a bit of a passive hold towards Halls, even though there's 3 players there. And now the site hit comes through on B.
Overdrive, double stunned up. Make sure you get rid of that one. Durkado still ends up being rewarded. Finds the 1 kill, and look at this. Passive positioning by FNATIC. Not willing to give them anything by overstepping themselves. The overdrive's going to be fading away soon enough. Adverso wants to try and find his way into this close common angle. In fact, he wants to take the fight straight to them. But again, Enzo deals with it easily enough. Takalia left down to 10 health. He's going to be rotating into B main, but he's smoked off. He's going to have to do something amazing. But I think the footsteps, the sound cue, it's being watched, obviously. Boaster's fully in the know.
King can only watch. Flawless. As his team gets diffused again, it is another prime game in Flawless. And FNATIC take the lead in the map. And so many of these rounds, it seems like there is one moment, be it at the beginning of the round, middle of the round, late round, whatever. There is a moment where Leviatán go for a high risk, high reward play, and it defines whether or not they have an advantage or can win the round. Adverso, the breach player, going forwards to try and take that duel.
I thought he was just going to hold a more passive angle on Jenny, but no, he took it one step further.
Yeah, they're always trying to make the play that will win the round. And it's on FNATIC to make sure that that play loses them the round instead.
Look at this aggression that's being played up towards Dish. All this space being gained, but knowledge on either side. Arcade is being taken up, but no real positioning for Leviatán. And look at this, FNATIC running all the way behind them.
And this is different. They're gonna
oh my goodness, they're going to be meeting right into the fray. The players colliding. FNATIC though across their placement. Oh, they knew exactly what they were going to be peeking into.
And it's Alpha Yeah again with a bulldog in hand, delivering the kills for FNATIC. Such a young player with so many expectations. Some of them unfair, given how little he'd had opportunity at the main stage, but wow, he is delivering on Fracture. That's the bonus round, and suddenly FNATIC are answering in the second half exactly how Leviatán opened with them.
And this round, I absolutely love the call that was being made there. The fast take of Dish, fast enough that they were running all the way deep behind to try and wrap around. Hacker's going to be trying to make it expensive, but at the end of the day, the money situation is still good for FNATIC. But just to really hammer home, I think that they took that with such pace, and the timing was so awkward that, I mean, Leviatán, you could see, they were unaware. They had no idea those players were going to be coming to pincer them from behind.
And like I said, it's a little uncharacteristic for FNATIC. They're not usually going to be a team that reacts extremely quickly. And so once you take one side of the map, they're instantly sprinting out of Dish or, you know, going for a reactive play somewhere else. That isn't Boaster's mid-rounding style necessarily. We've seen it a lot from Benkai, for example, with Paper X, but, you know, sometimes even with FNS on Optic. Boaster normally likes the pace to be a little slower, a little more controlled. But when you throw it in occasionally, when you hit them with the fast play and your image is a slow team, wow, it caught Leviatán
so
completely off guard.
Yeah, they just thought it was a freebie. None of them were anticipating it. The crosshair placement wasn't there.
But the spray control for Alpha, yeah, to be able to get 3 there too. He's 20 and 9 so far. And we were having conversations about Durka using this tournament to potentially stake his claim as the best player in the world.
Sure.
He's not been bad. He absolutely hasn't been bad. But Alpha, yeah.
It's hard, it's hard.
He's the star on this.
Absolutely. It's hard to put up the consistently high numbers when you're literally sharing a throne with another player on your team. Who's also doing the heavy lifting. And when Alfie is in this form, I mean, this is what we wanted out of the guy watching him online.
Here's Boaster. He's got a better angle onto King, but King still wins it with a little readjustment.
Durka does answer back. I mean, that 1 kill is nice to have. Turns it back into the 4v4.
And Taco's going to be searching with his headhunter. Taco probing towards Halls and Sanders, King probes once again.
You're not Aldous.
Enzo certainly is.
Okay. Yeah, Viper's pick going to be placed down onto A, but I'm looking at Adversa with this Rolling Thunder. They've done some crazy plays with this.
But Durka has mostly been playing towards Generator. You haven't seen Durka with his Rendezvous offline playing aggro positions so far.
Yeah.
He's very smartly playing around the aggression and playing retake a lot of the time. Spots where he can get spam damage perhaps. And he goes for a cheeky little peek there off the back of the aftershock, but retreats back with the rest of his team.
And this could still get dangerous. The Rolling Thunder, I knew it was coming. The aggressive play, Leviatán want to be taking it straight to them. They force out that showstopper. Alfie ended up pulling it out, trying to offload once more that aggression that was potentially going their way.
And it was the perfect tool to do it.
Back it away, a shot being taken still. With his post plans, look at the way FNATIC are clearing out B main now. Tower, so well drilled, but yes, they have to watch out for that backside area. Still on half on the defuse. The Brim Molly's dropped down, but time has been gained from that play alone. Melzer off to the side, Tackleer as well, the crossfire. They all come tumbling down.
And it's another one of those awesome, thrifty rounds that Leviatán put together. Awesome play. I mean, a fantastic post plants. Really looking to get aggressive in the post plant as well. If Alvia hadn't popped his showstopper, King was about to send it through the smoke at Generator. I don't know whether that would have won them or lost them the round, but these shots from Taco make the difference.
So low when he's making it. Both of these players so incredibly low with half on the defuse. I mean, so easily winnable for FNATIC. You can feel the frustration there on Mini's face.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I think it was King and Melzer doubling up in tower that helped. Sure. Alpha takes a fight early on as well. The flash is there.
Does he get one?
But trades 1 for 1.
I mean, the guy was overwhelmed there. So many players in his face still. Another 4v4 scenario.
And while that's going on, while there's so much aggression over a dish, Taco wanted to go for some kind of reactive push, chose not to, and is now just watching Halls. But it's the chamber on the other side, Durka, going for walkabouts here.
Oh, pushing so deep.
And essentially, if he just holds this angle, he's containing all of these players.
Yeah, they know they're at the dish area, the drop area.
He's going very
This
deep.
is so aggressive. I mean, he doesn't have his rendezvous set up as well to get out.
No, I don't think Durka needs to be doing this, but he might win them the round.
Watching it. The jiggle pick, the elbow. Enzo still dealt with this one though as Taco goes down. He was lurking through Halls, but it's a fast play. Durka is punished.
And there's the punish for the overflank, and what that means is now the door opens for Leviatán. They can pivot back through Arcade, and Boaster has to scramble, moving back towards Generator, attempting to see if he can pick off a rotate.
It's a difficult ask, isn't it? No command dropped through, but
He's going for it.
Yeah, the smoke was dropped. The orbital strike! Boaster just wanders into it!
What a mistake, what a blunder.
Oh, no, no, no. Spike now being planted is down to Mystic and Enzo. But the positioning, I mean, it just can't get through any of these smokes. A slight gap, it gives the angle shot, moves forwards. Still wants to take it. Swinging wide onto the site, into the pocket. That's going to be the snake bite. Forces the positioning and the aftershock. The utility is good, but you need your guns out. And finally they find them. The kills going their way. Mel's with this off angle though. To the side, the swing is there. The trade, perfect from Mystic.
And that's the Mystic you want to see. Great for the trade, closing out the rounds, and saving a situation that FNATIC almost threw away.
Yeah.
Once Takulia dies and Durka has them contained, that should be the round over.
Overstep yourself.
Yeah, I think Durka overstepping, and Boaster just didn't honestly realize that he was being brimulted there, I think. He had a safe pocket, but lacked the situational awareness to realize where exactly the brimult had been thrown.
But FNATIC did salvage it, you can feel that.
Squeaky bum time.
Ooh.
And FNATIC take a 2-round lead in this.
Yeah.
But it's never safe, and their economy doesn't look that great. Durka with a tour de force though, so this should be one of the most pivotal rounds that they're heading into. And Leviatán take a timeout to talk with Coach Bertoni.
What to do in this situation?
One of the coaches, in fact, that was previously on Crew, when Crew went on their run at Champions, knocking FNATIC out of the quarterfinals too. You know, this team has that experience in the coaching staff.
Yeah.
You know, we have the considerations about LATAM as a region, and you know that'll lump Leviatán in with Crew sometimes, even though they are very different teams. But part of that is because They share the same coaching staff. They share a similar vibe where you feel like they're never out, that they could go for a crazy run.
These independent plays that the players are willing to pull out as well.
And who would have thought Leviatán would be neck and neck, essentially, on FNATIC's map pick, on a map that they barely ever play.
They barely play it.
Even if Leviatán lose this map, they should still be feeling great about Ascent and Bind.
Yeah, this map pool it's looking spicy. I think the deeper it's going to get into the series, but map 1 not over yet. Stun off to the side is going to be supplemented again. A fast push on either side, actually. Leviatán trying to take space on Arcade, but this tree area has been pushed out by FNATIC, and they've gained a lot of space from it. I think Alfie might be even posted up on a high ground angle that can pierce all the way down into the other side of Halls, if he is satchelled up onto the box like I think he is.
Leviatán choosing not to use any utility over here at Dish. And last time Durka got punished by the aggression, this time punished by Takolia.
Oh. Takolia not going to be overextending, doesn't want to try and take the potential fight.
And the trademark being down means that Leviatán can creep ever closer, and now they explode.
Straight away.
Can Enzo do anything? A spam kill would be huge.
Fast lane, the stuns. Takolia still watching that one angle, and then immediately sends FNATIC scattered all the way back, running away.
This is a save round.
Yeah. The call's made almost instantaneously.
Enzo Mystic going to be able to drop some players. So FNATIC do have the economy to buy. But Leviatán's contact pushes up through Dish have been slaughtering FNATIC. When Durka tried to anchor, King ran him over. When Durka's looking for an info peek, he doesn't have a player. So if Durka's playing with somebody else, maybe they can stun him onto the angle, flash him onto the angle, use some piece of utility to help Durka get on the line and force Taco back off of it. That's how you get advantages in these op battles. But Durka's completely alone, just holding Halls there. And that allows the rest of FNATIC to be more flexible with their positioning. They can put players over towards B, but when these Dish pushes or these A crunches happen, FNATIC look a little weak. It was Enzo's anchoring that was saving them in a lot of the EMEA games we watched. But he hasn't been playing that A position outside of the rounds where he has Viper's Pit online.
And even, almost, when it comes to that round scoreline. The second half has been, you can see just from there, FNATIC have been in control of most of these rounds, but it feels like Leviatán have started to pick apart a bit of a weakness, something that they can send flying in there. The counter flash out here, pushed away, now the Rolling Thunder. They want to try and capitalize, but the FNATIC player is just too slow off of it. King baits it out, and it's a complete wraparound. The instantaneous pivot.
And again, it's only Durka on B. Can he grab a kill and rendezvous away? He's set up nicely for it.
A stun into the side, it's going to be rebounding back and forth. Durka's still there, holds the angle. And the disrespect shown, doesn't want to teleport away. The rest of his teammates finally getting into position to follow up. Tower still being fought over, but adverse wins it.
He's delaying though, and the rotates have come through. The plant tapped for a moment to see what the reaction would be, and the spam punished.
Yep.
Gorgeous flash.
Post has been spamming through these smokes quite often. That'd be a bit of an adaptation.
Absolutely.
On the fly. These teams are just slowly getting used to one another, back and forth, down to Ento and Alpha yet. Now just Alpha yet.
Has to do it all. A FNATIC player has been stepping up massively, but a 1v3 with these post-plant positions would be so hard.
Finds one.
Taco gifts it to him.
Hey up. Where's the crossfire here? Where's the setup?
Shy with a good reposition, back towards Generator.
Towards Jenny. It is looking truly unwinnable for Alpha here with the positions that were being played there. And that is going to mean this map now going even once more, 10-10, being the scoreline.
What a performance that Leviatán are putting up. And also, again, never afraid to make the play that can win the round. And this time it's Shy. So Adverso taps the spike, trying to bait out utility, aftershock, nade, whatever. But also, it is going to bait out spam, designed to try and punish him for getting onto the plant. And as soon as Boaster falls, there's no smokes. You can't stop Takolia taking those angles from top stairs. The retake becomes infinitely more difficult without Boaster's utility.
I thought heading into this series as well, FNATIC, having gone up against PaperX, I thought that they would have been tempered almost by the speed and aggression. The essentially requirement to keep up with the way and pace that PaperX play should set them up I think, in terms of being able to play against the more independent style of a lot of the individual players of Leviathan. But so far, I think this is a game where the teams are just trying to get that grip on how each other is playing.
But they're both making some beautiful adaptations.
They are.
I think the way that FNATIC approached the beginning of this half as well, and very nice, but now they're letting it slip. And it's almost a mirror between these two teams. The defending team racks up a bunch of rounds early on in the half, and then slowly the attackers are figuring a way around it. And FNATIC have been going for so many of these 4-1 defensive splits. Look at the minimap again. It's Durka alone over at tower. And I think Leviathan are starting to read this. They are going to be able to barrel into B. Even if they lose a player, they're getting a free plant down, and they can play post plants, which they've been excellent at. Not going for the same level of pace, though.
It's a lot of presence, isn't it? There's just a flash to push them up onto the angle, I think, so they could take control of tunnel, and now the contact comes through.
And Leviathan have not been scared to go for these contact plays either. Normally, I would not like it. Durka often with the operator in his hands, but now reduced only to a judge. His job simply to hold tower control for as long as possible.
Leviathan are so grouped up.
Gotta go.
There's the 4 of them, just holding these positions, making sure that they make no noise, no sound cues to give away and reveal any information that FNATIC might be able to use. But I believe what is that? The trade might be broken. Yeah.
Trade might broken, but Leviathan anticipating some kind of rotate are heading back over to halls.
No prior control of it gained as well.
Alpha was tucked in cubby and now is starting to move away.
Boy.
They're worried about some kind of push from drop.
Earlier in the round, Enzo does have this open. Pop flash through. Has to just backpedal and spam away. But the flash, that's a counterplay. The utility from FNATIC there. It helps him out. Ensures that they can at least get a couple. But somehow, Shy's ended up with 2. Another flash play. No, just the sides against it. The fragment stops them from just trying to push through these smokes. Blocking the way now with just 12 seconds remaining. The spike has to get planted.
Shy's looking to try and punish somebody who's going aggressive again.
Flash
Here's the flash over.
And there's Enzo's position. It was known he didn't get himself out with the kill. Now down to just tackle Leah. But the weapon he's got is good. Dirk is still only working with the judge and his headhunt and bullets. We'll see if the positioning can be played. A bit of a bait there. You can see just jumping Boaster, trying to make them think that he has dropped down. Finally now space being taken, but the damage. 10 HP on tackle Leah, and he cannot win it out. Boaster, the IGL, steps up in the moment of need.
Huge clutch for Boaster to win. And he has been one of the better clutches for FNATIC in this tournament. FNATIC haven't had to pull out many of these big late rounds in the same way that Leviathan have. But that one is so important. I think they got the worst end of the round from a strategical point of view. Leviathan managed to pop in there, and it's just a little unlucky. I think a bit of a team flash saved Enzo and allowed him to continue having impact in the rounds.
I gave credit to Mystic at the time.
Yeah, but I think that was just a tiny bit of a team flash through the smoke that caused chaos over at Sand. What a moment for Boaster to remain calm. FNATIC are 1 round away from that map point.
Let's play.
Love for that to be the case. Boomwhat up close. Overdrive now. The damage. Oh, it was done to Alpha here, but still, this guy feels like he's getting overwhelmed constantly, but still comes up with the kills.
Look at the fast flank, though. Mystic, Durka pushed out of tree instantly, and they are so quick here.
Oh, knife out from Alza. Oh, he thinks it's just reload. Guardian, no, that's not a rifle still. Gets the kill, does the job. Flash to try and reclear. Shy up close and personal. Flash over the top now, but right round the side. Just finding his way around Durka. A bit of a bait with the movement. Mystic just tries to jiggle it, but they push through the adaptation from Leviathan. They move into the defender's spawn.
And FNATIC were ready for it, but they just couldn't make it happen. Mystic's already won a 1v2 this tournament, but it will not be the second.
That was just...
Tackle Leah takes him out.
He was stunned up there. He had to land that shot.
Yeah. Absurd play. Absurd. Leviathan, Taco and Adversa finding the kills that save the round there after FNATIC's fast flank hauls finds the goods. And FNATIC were waiting for it. Yeah. They had a player drop. They had a player in their own spawn waiting for that push, and they still lost the duels. Sometimes you can make all the right decisions, but you need to still hit the shots. And that's where Leviathan have been able to find their success. Making a run so far in the lower bracket, or somewhat of one. And here's another fight over towards Dish as King, Alpha clash once more.
The weapons are not good for FNATIC. They should not be favored in these fights, especially when the bodies are just running towards them. That player advantage that Leviatán have been relying on over and over and over again. It's down to Enzo. Sheriff in his hand, has to anchor it, but only finds the 1 kill. And Durka forced to retake. To bind a judge into these rounds, but what can you do? Well, the Caterpillar strat, why not? Bit of coverage in play, picks up the weapon, drops it down again. Verso, utility out in his hands. Does he notice reposition? They suspect it. The aftershock's there, and just the slight angle. Being watched by Shy.
And point for Leviatán. Map point for Leviatán on a map they've never played before with this roster. Up against FNATIC. One of the all-time great teams on Fracture.
Just absurd.
It is
absurd, isn't it?
FNATIC thought they were punishing them with this pick. No, okay, we won't go for Bind, which might be the better overall pick. We'll go for Fracture to punish Leviatán for leaving it open. And Leviatán are ready. They were so ready. It's a scrappy buy coming out from FNATIC as they try and keep this one alive.
Pulling together the pocket change to see if they can get anything done. Stuns for stuns. Alpha trying to set him up, but it's just overwhelming every single time. This dish fight has been a common key throughout this entire series.
And even with Boaster throwing in the orbital strike, it wasn't able to do a thing. The FNATIC players that have tried to stand their ground have been run over. And Enzo's going to go for his mid-round Viper's Pit, as he is wont to do in a lot of these situations. But Leviatán, the map is open for them. They can pivot. In a 5v4 situation, the defense is so spread out, so thin. And the Viper's Pit doesn't control an area like Halls. It's very, very safe.
With the way that these Leviatán players are maneuvering around the map now, Josh, all of them grouped up, heading towards B. There's one player to try and block it. Find the angle! What a play to make! Tour de force in hand, the collateral shuts it down, and the rendezvous to safety. An ult for that, a 20-second ability, why not?
And with 30 seconds left, all of these Leviatán players are now channeled back into Enzo. He doesn't really have any assistance. We'll hear the door opening, and FNATIC scrambling to go and assist him.
Utility being used to put pressure into it, but again, Durka up close, a personal that Judge whipped out, they want to fight it. Adverso gets 2, but the spike is on the ground. Rolling Thunder, it's chaos, it's carnage enacted here. Enzo makes sure to clean up the scraps, the players that were just trying to steal away an advantage, and there's no time on the clock. All up to Durka prior in this round. With that one play he made, he bought the time necessary for them to bring it to OT.
You want to play from Durka? You want him to showcase the talent, the read on the game that he's got? Well, there's one for you.
Look at this.
He's playing against an orbital strike here. He can't just hide in tower. And he just picks the perfect timing. The perfect timing to peek with the tour de force. Gets both. Outplays Taco that was holding the line. And almost a heart attack for Alpha, yeah.
We head to OT.
I was not expecting it, Map 1. Maybe you could have convinced me Ascent. Okay, yeah, sure. Overtime possibilities. Why did Leviatán go for Bind instead of Haven? Surely they have a plan. Maybe it'll go OT there. But Fracture? Map 1 heading to overtime already here. Bonkers. 3 players early on over towards Bridge, and King chooses not to challenge them, instead pushing underneath. Is Durka ready for it? Is Durka watching?
Across their placement of King, it's so narrow right now, but the angle being watched. Durka tries to swing into it with a bit of a crouch to disrupt it.
He was certainly ready, he just couldn't win the duel.
Tackle here with the off. Stun will mean that this angle, you cannot be disrespecting this one still. A jiggle, he hasn't moved away to flash eventually. They're having to use almost everything at their disposal to push him out of that angle.
Just playing as the utility sponge. Trying to draw as much as possible out of FNATIC, forcing them to fight and pay for every inch.
Now FNATIC are aware that there's an operator on the field. It adds that extra worry, I think, in the back of their minds. Normally when you're a player down, a lot of teams, they will default to those contact plays, but dangerous to do that when you're up against that sniper.
Hasn't made the reposition though, and it's Shy that takes first contact. Nade used, Shy with only 1 flash left in the round.
Aftershock into the corner, want to try and take control of this one, Melzer. Oh, he's fallen.
What a play.
And Alpha, a skip and a hop. The Satchel play to kills just flooding for them.
Awesome round from FNATIC. As they push in, the Aftershock from Mystic forces Shy to make a decision. and he chooses the aggressive option, gets destroyed by the utility.
What has been coming down into these rounds, Josh, when they Fnatic are at that player disadvantage? It's been the utility that's carried them forwards.
It really has, especially coming out from Mystic, and I think the awareness to punish, to just hold for an extra moment, because you know Leviathan are going to try and make that extra play, has favored them massively. And Fnatic shut that one out, only losing Durka right at the beginning of the round. Ever since then, easily handled.
Match point.
That puts Fnatic onto map point.
What a way for them to bring this back.
The first one that they've had access to. Oh, these players that are trying to push through the smokes. Leviathan are pushing through every smoke. And I think it took a while for Fnatic to realize that.
Nice.
But now they're holding on.
Come on. And that's that back and forth, Josh. You look at the round history. These teams just seem to have a grip on the way that each other's playing. This time Fnatic, they've got the read. The adaptations are being made, but now the side switching round. It's up to Leviathan. Let's see if they can keep this OT going. Map number 1 of this elimination game.
First time bridge crunch for Fnatic, pushing heavily out of dish here. And they break the trademark instantly. Does Taco have a response off the back of that? No, just holding the angle still.
Did this before, you remember, when they were on the weaker buy prior.
Yeah.
They did end up coming up with a good stem, but no players.
But that one to me felt reactive. It was because they'd heard so much in arcade. This time it was just straight off the rip.
Yeah.
Fnatic just decided to send it no matter what. And now these players back off.
What a difference.
Oh, a bit of a sound bait.
Yeah.
Trying to get Leviathan to peek, to push, thinking that they've got a timing. And Enzo quietly creeps back forwards, a bit of a jiggle, but nobody being found. What patience, what a shift in the tempo from Leviathan. And maybe they will get a fish on the end of the hook.
40 seconds left in the round though, Josh. It's dangerous when you play it like this.
Has Enzo caught the timing, or have they caught him?
Oh my goodness, it's not being watched. It's not being watched. Smoke's dropped down. He can hear the players making movements towards main. Enzo, everything on the line, but this is awkward now. He has to try and overextend into this one, but Durka still is going to steal that kill away from him.
Wild.
Gained. All the players have wrapped around into halls.
King heard a shot from this direction, but no kill. And now you've got an odd duel in the middle of the round that King wins. 10 seconds left, going for the plant. Boaster with a, Althea with a nade.
Spike planted.
But he chooses not to invest. They're just going to go for the 4v3 retake. This one for the map.
Mistakes were made into this one. Takala, you cannot be telling me you're pushing into the smoke. It's being spammed out. They expect no scope! Flicks it to the side. He can't return it again, but Durka with 4. Looking for the ace. Looking to secure the map for his team. Molly dropped down. They know the positioning of Melza. And as soon as this starts to dissipate, player gets onto it, triple facing it up. Unwinnable for them. Eventually fading it away, and that is going to be the round going to Fnatic. That is going to be the map going to Fnatic.
Little shake of the head there for Mystic towards the end. I'm not sure what the emotions are going to look like for Fnatic there. I'm sure thrilled that they ended up winning that one in a tight OT. But take a step back, Brent. That was supposed to be the map that was the most dominant.
Oh. You can see the reactions.
They're calm. They avoided a disaster. And you might even say that Leviathan have to win this series 2-0, considering what we know about them on Bind. But this series is not going to be over. If Leviathan can bring this kind of level to Fracture, they can bring it to the rest of the maps as well. For sure. I think we're seeing a different beast compared to the data that you look at from them in LATAM.
I think these are the teams that are the most dangerous. We've seen it so many times in the global events. Fnatic are going to take that early lead in this series, but when you have a team that they've already achieved their goals, they've got their champions placement, at this point the pressure's off their shoulders. Fnatic are the ones that are expected to be in the finals.
And the two players that are expected to perform on Fnatic the most are Althea and Durka, and they're right up at the top of the scoreboard for this map. There were moments, of course, where Durka ended up getting overwhelmed, but in the crucial OT situations, Durka comes up with a 4K towards the end, trading players out, winning duels exceptionally, and Althea was pretty much rock solid the whole time, just suffering from similar things where the tempo or a crazy push through the smoke ended up being too much, but this series is going to continue to deliver.
It's heating up. Josh, what portion of your soul did you sell to give us these series? I mean, we're just getting ridiculous matches. Going to go to a short break. Our analyst desk breaking down all the action, setting us up for that crucial map number 2. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it. I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it. Quitting was never an option. And you cannot stop it. You cannot stop it.
next.